If you had reached out to the community 20 years ago and said, scientists in academia, you should be working with industry, folks would have looked at you with a bit of an askance look. I think the way that the Fox Foundation has approached this in being very nimble in the way that they think and nimble in the way that they bring partners together has really impacted the research field incredibly.
The other thing about Michael J. Fox Foundation I think is really amazing, and I give them credit for, is that they want a seat at multiple tables to move the field forward.
One of the things you sort of feel at the Fox Foundation when you walk in the door is this idea that we need to move fast. We need to get things done. And I think that's probably the most obvious patient-centric strategy that they have.
They're so aligned with this idea that success is going to come when you've engaged the community. So not just the research community, but you have to engage the patients. And when you bring those two together and you truly engage both sides and you say, the researchers, we're learning this, let's go back to the patients and let's say, what if now what about this? And make that a continuously iterative research process, I think that's when you're gonna have real success.
The level of precision they bring to guiding the research and the projects they choose to fund is remarkable. It's an honor to be part of that, part of that energy, part of that positive approach to something that otherwise is negative, and that can't be overstated.
When you work with a foundation, they have a mindset that is always patient-centric. It's the same mindset that you want in a company, but often in companies there is a different sort of sense of urgency and different directives, and unfortunately in large companies, when you hit a roadblock, often those programs are deprioritized.
One of the things I tell people at 23andMe all the time, and I think Michael J. Fox embodies this philosophy as well, is that you have to be comfortable with failure. There's a lot of unknowns, and sometimes it's the really crazy idea that works.
I think another important factor is that the Fox Foundation understands where science and technology is headed broadly and is really trying to pull in those elements of science and direct them at Parkinson's disease.
You have to really have a strong scientific grounding to approach appropriately, and it's in addition to being this really charismatic group of people who seem really dedicated, it's been wonderful to see the level of scientific rigor that they've brought to this.
When we're doing something, what's the purity of our motive? Are we just about doing this thing? Are we about what people think of us? None of that matters. It's just about keeping an eye on the prize.